Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be back with you all today. So, my name is Sonia Relia, and I am back on the Square Panda platform to interact and to share a few thoughts with you. About 2 weeks back, when we all met, your response was very overwhelming, and the Square Panda team have decided that we must connect a little more often and create a little community where learning can happen together. Teachers, parents, and a few people like us. And no, I don't call myself an expert in early years because I genuinely feel that this stage of life is so dynamic and children are learning so much so fast that you really can't be an expert. Yes, you can keep learning, you can keep sharing as parents, as people who work with children, and we can actually help to make learning more fun and better for children. So, on behalf of the Square Panda team, a shout out to all the parents that it's going to be a pleasure to keep meeting you all, and we would be really welcoming your inputs. You tell us what you would like to talk about. What would you like to know? And we will try and put together as many activities, as many thoughts, as many experts as we can, and come back and meet you as often as we can. So, I have been, for the past about almost 2 months, been attending a lot of webinars myself because I thought it's really nice to learn, to listen to what different people are speaking. And there are a couple of things which are repeated on every platform. You know, you're continuously hearing these things again and again. The first one is the 21st century skills, which would say creativity, communication and collaboration, critical thinking, and post-COVID. So these are the things which I actually have boiled down to the maximum spoken in these last 2 months. The intent is good because it is skills that we all need, but not necessarily 21st century. Perhaps 100 years back, creativity was important, collaboration was important, critical thinking was important, and it will remain 100 years from now. So situations will change, dynamics will change, but some skills just are life skills and they just must stay with children. They must grow with children. Post-COVID, none of us knew this is going to happen. None of us were prepared for it. I don't think anything could have prepared for it. But everybody is coping with their own mechanisms. Some are doing it very, very well, and some are struggling. So I think these skills are what are going to help us present or in the future. Your little children will be adults about some 10 years from now, some 15 years from now. And it's so difficult to predict even what's going to happen next week. So let's make now best for them, whatever they have now, and whatever we can do as teachers, what can you do as parents, and what can we all do together. I think that should be the focus. So as we are going to be meeting, you all often, I thought today would be a nice time to start from the very beginning, to start by setting up a whole space which is ours. So little children, if they're little children sitting here, there are many kinds of homes. So there's some homes with many, many rooms, and there's some homes which are called magic homes. They may just have maybe 2 rooms or maybe just 1 room, but they're magic rooms. So when you eat your meals in the room, they become your dining room. When you pack up your meal and you perhaps put out your gaddas to sleep there, it's your bedroom. When you have guests coming and you put out small stools and sit down, it becomes your sitting room. So that's your beautiful magic home. And all of us have little things in the house, right? So and we all have neighbors, we also have things, and we also have neighbors. We love our things, we also love our neighbors. So like that, once upon a time, there was Pan the panda. I have this little panda for many years, and I decided I must share it with all of you. And Rinny the rabbit. So you have Pan the panda and Rinny the rabbit. This is Pan's home, this is Rinny's home. All right? And they were neighbors and they loved to play. So they would be in their house, they would come out in the evening and they would go out and play. They would meet in the park every day. Some days they would visit each other's home, and some days they would just walk and happily wave to each other and say, "Hi there." So one day, mommy called them both and said, "No, from tomorrow, you cannot go out to play. You have to be home, for that's going to be the next few days." And Pan and Rinny got really worried. So, no going to your friend's home, no going out for the game. Pan and Rinny did not know why things are not the same. Then Pan went to his house, Rinny went to her house. Pan kept his things beautifully. So he would go from reading books and sometimes coloring, drawing, and sometimes he would just open a magic box. He had really nice things. But Rinny would keep everything cluttered. So she would keep struggling and not being able to find her things. One day, Rinny peeped out of the window and saw Pan sitting and reading. And she said, "Hey, Pan, what are you doing?" So Pan said, "I'm reading my books." So Rinny said, "Oh, where are my books? Are they under the table? Are they on the chair? Are they behind the bed?" So what do you think Rinny should do? She keep her things properly so that she can find them? Do you feel that? So, because we are trying to teach Rini how to keep her things beautifully, so we are going to keep our things and we are going to help Rini. All right? That's how friends are. Even if you're not meeting each other, you can always connect. You can connect with your friends from the window. You can ring up your friends. So there's so many ways to do it. And now time to teach Rini how to do a few nice things, right? So Pan the panda had many books, many books. He had big books and he had really small books. He had fat books and he had thin books. He had school books and some workbooks. So many books. Tall books, short books, old books, new books. Books with some fairies and elves. You know, books have a home and they live on the shelves. Books you can draw with. Books that have stories to tell. And do you know something really interesting? If you smell the books, they have a lovely fragrance and they have their own paper smell. So books can be such happy friends for you and me. When we put them together, we can keep meeting them like we meet our friends. And then you will see how they can be friends for you and me. So you can sit on your favorite cushion. You can sometimes sit under the dining table. You can sometimes sit on the sofa. You can get into the bed. And you can happily open your books and again meet all the fairies and elves. After you read their book, you remember they have a place where they live, so they always will go back on the shelf. So build your little book space. We are going to put all our books together and make our book space. Even if you have old notebooks, if you have drawing books, any book that is yours, please put it together and then see how many times you can read your books. This is also for parents with older children, 7 years, 8 years old. Please do not throw away the books that they had when they were 3, 4, and 5 years old. Because by the time they're 7, their skills are getting better. And when they go back to the books that they read as little children, the fluency will be much more. So a repetitive pattern is a very important way to learn. We are so fast about wanting to change everything because everything is so affordable. So you keep changing. I remember there used to be this beautiful book of Enid Blyton called The Enchanted Tree. And even today, when I go back, I pull it out of the library and I read a couple of pages. So, and in spite of what you think that all the time children need variety, that really doesn't happen, right? So, repetitive patterns, children love to go back to certain stories. So, please let them do that and let them enjoy it. Don't force them. Get the book space ready and let's see what they do out of it. Okay, now ready. Now we have to get our second space ready. And we all know that we all have to be really nice and clean. So let's meet Mr. Mop. Okay, so Mr. Mop is a friend of Miss Broom. They work together and they clean the rooms. Now they have a friend. The friend is the dust pan. The dustpan helps them to gather the dust, and a duster is an absolute must because you have to keep everything around you really hygienic and really clean, whether it's in school, whether it's in home, at your home, you must keep it really clean. So it's okay if you're small and you can't clean the whole house or the whole room, but you can always clean and sweep that little space that you play in, right? So remember that mommy needs help, mommy gets tired, and it's your home too. And if you help mommy, your mommy's friend so true. So let's make a cleaning corner. So what you're going to put in your cleaning corner? A small mop, a small broom, a dustpan, and a duster. All right. So now we have two corners, two spaces ready in our homes. We can read sometimes, we can clean sometimes. All right. So we have choices of what we want to do. Now you have to have your creative corner. You have to bring your pencils, your erasers, your crayons, your paint tins, bowls to mix your paints in. And remember, the bowls have to be washed too. Papers and ribbons and some glue. Oh, with these, you can every day make something new. All right. So when you finish reading your books, when you see the fairies, the elves, the flowers, the bees, you can always come back. Tell me the story. The me could be your mama. Tell your mama the story, your daddy the story, your little brother or sister the story, and put it back. Remember, books have homes in the shelves. So you put your books back and then you take out your things to draw. You remember the story that you read and you can draw it on the paper. You can draw trees, you can draw flowers, you can draw butterflies, and you can draw bees. You can draw gardens, you can draw ducks, and you can draw cackling geese. Draw, paste, sing, and dance. You can draw, you can paste, you can sing, and you dance. It's a creative corner. So what we are going to do, we are going to get this little artist in you ready. And
you're home during the lockdown or lockdown with the SquareTales reading app. Turn your child into a confident and independent reader with the SquareTales reading app from Panda. A unique app that uses technology to mix fun stories and engaging characters into a reading and learning experience like no other, week on week. This week, the kids are reading a new book. So what are you waiting for? Download the free SquareTales reading app today.
And we are going to make you dance. So are we ready for a nice, beautiful song?
Okay, let's get ready for some action. We'll have some hopping and jumping and twisting and singing and lots of fun.
Are you ready? Lovely. And I'm going to play now. Now that we're all ready, I'm going to play another beautiful song for you. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to look for this lovely song which I have for you. And we are going to.
Red are the apples for everyone. Red are the roses out in the sun. Red are the cherries down in the shop. Red is the light that tells us stop.
Red are the apples for everyone. Red are the roses out in the sun. Red are the cherries down in the shop. There is the light that tells us stop.
Now tell me, what else is red?
Tomatoes?
Yes.
Blood.
Yep.
A joker's nose. Ooh. My mommy's lipstick.
Yellow is the butter we love to eat. Yellow is the sun that gives us heat. Yellow is the sunflower out in the field. Yellow is the slippery banana peel.
Yellow is the butter we love to eat. Yellow is the sun that gives us heat. Yellow is the sunflower out in the field. Yellow is the slippery banana peel.
Now what about yellow? What else is yellow?
Lemons, the top of a taxi.
Yes.
Egg yolk, chicks.
Ah, that's correct. Blue is the water in the sea. Blue is the peacock roaming free. Blue is the ink I fill in my pen. Blue is the sky the clouds roam in.
Blue is the water in the sea. Blue is the peacock rolling free. Blue is the ink I fill in my pen. Blue is the sky the clouds roll in. Auntie, my jeans are also blue. Hey, so is a kingfisher.
Yes, you've got it. Now you know your colors.
So, for the little children, it's just a happy song. For the slightly older children, you can actually ask them to draw things, more things with the same colors. You can ask them to add the names of the colors. And under each color, draw as many things around the house that they see in that particular color. So, when you talk about early years and you talk about children between 3 to 6, 7 and 8 really are not such older children. So many activities that you do for the younger ones can be so easily adapted to the older ones. Plus, they'll have really a lot of fun because they have become better at it. Their skills are better. So they just would enjoy it. I've been doing this with children for many years, that they go back and recap and suddenly they do it much faster. So they really feel good about the whole learning process. And that's what learning is all about, right? So the creative corner is ready. And now the most important thing is the magic box. Just take a cardboard box, just a normal cardboard box in the house and put little tinklets in it. It could be, it could be a lace from an old shoe. It could be a little mirror to look into and talk to myself to. It could be a little button from my coat. It could be Mama's old fan to make me look pretty. It could be clips. I can take clips from the washing line and I can put my little doll in it. I can put my rubber band that is pink and blue. I can put a scarf which Mama doesn't use anymore. So my little box is my magic box. I can put things in it beautifully. Why a magic box? Because there are a lot of trinkets that the children like, There'll be unconnected things. There may be a wheel from an old toy. There may be just a frock from a doll. It could be a small ball. It could be a small little card which somebody gave the child. So this magic box is this. And a lot of times you'll notice that the child is opening the magic box and actually sitting and happily, imagining different things. So you have your books corner, you have your creative corner, you have your magic box, and you have your cleaning corner. Just these things together, get your spaces ready. You have, when I come back and meet you, I hope you all want to keep seeing me again and again. But when I come back and meet you, I will bring space ideas with me. What you can do in the washroom to teach them 5 concepts. It could be fun. What could you do for reading? What could you do for listening and speaking? Because in the coming week, a very dear friend, Neha, is going to be joining me. She is, I will tell you about her when we meet next week. But she's been this absolutely wonderful person who specializes in the listening and the speaking for little children. Actually, also for older ones, but the kind of emphasis she stresses on this segment of learning. Uh, I thought it would be really beautiful to share this platform with her. So get your corners ready, get the children ready, get them to be chatting with their neighbors through the window balcony, saying hi. And I'm sure things are going to be better, and all of us are going to keep meeting, keep learning, keep growing together, and just simply enjoy this journey with our children, right? So thank you so much for this evening, and our apologies for the live session not going as well as it should. But that's the difference between being digitally connected and the human connect. So the human connect remains. Sometimes the digital does bother us, but it's been such a big blessing for all of us to be connected through a platform where all of us are sitting in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and yet are connected. So we'll see you next week. And remember, this time it's going to be a nice, fun session with listening and speaking, and we're going to have a guest on board. Thank you, and bye bye.
Download the free SquareTales reading app today.